In this video, you are going to learn how to write an equation in slope-intercept form. We are going to first look at the graph and write an equation for the line shown on the graph. But before we go into our example, we need to know what we mean by slope-intercept form. So in math, slope-intercept form is a way of writing an equation for a line in the form y equal mx plus b, where m represents the slope and b represents, let me just write it here, the y-intercept. So in order for you to write this equation for the line that is shown on the graph, you need to know what is the slope and what is the y-intercept. You need to find those two first. So the y-intercept, as discussed in previous video, it is the y-coordinate where the line crosses the y-intercept. So it is very easy to identify the y-intercept, that is a given. So looking at this graph, it says, what is the equation for the line shown? I always start by finding my y-intercept because it is very, very easy to find. And as I said earlier, the y-intercept is the y-coordinate where the line crosses the y-axis. The y-axis again is our vertical distance and our x-axis is our horizontal distance. Now, what is my y-intercept, which is the same thing as b? b is equals to positive 2, because if you look on the graph, the line crosses the y-axis above the origin, which we know is going to be a positive y-intercept, and it crosses it right here at when y is 2. We need to find our slope. As discussed in previous videos, we have different ways to find the slope. We either can use rise over run, or we can use y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So we are going to use both ways to find m, right? Because whichever way you choose, the answer should be, the value for m should be the same. So again, when you're using rise over run, you just need to choose 2 points on the graph and say how much time you rise or how much time you run to get from one point to the other. So I am going to use these 2 points here, this one and this one, right? So I am going to go see how many times I rise and how many times I run to get to that point. So I am going to rise 1, 2. So my rise is going to be 2 based on the scale on the graph. Because if from here to here is 2, that means halfway there is 1. So therefore, I went up 1, 2, right, on my vertical axis. Now I am going to run on my horizontal axis to get to that point there. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I run 4 times, and it's going to be negative because I was going to the left to get to that point. So this is my slope. My slope is 2 over negative 4, which is the same thing as negative 1/2. So I did use rise over run. Let me just use broken line to represent that triangle where I use my rise over run. Now I am going to use my y1, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1 to see if it will be the same. Again, I'm going to use these 2 points. So I am going to use my y-intercept points, and I'm going to use this point right here. My 2 point is, remember, the y-intercept is the value of y when x is 0. So when x is 0, y is 2. And my other point here is saying when x is 4, y is 0. I'm going to label them. This is my x1, y1, x2, y2. So my y2 is going to be 0 minus my y1, which is 2, and my x2 is going to be 4 minus my x1, which is 0. So therefore, when I take away those two numbers, I get -2 divided by 4. And if I simplify this, I'm going to get -1/2. My slope is -1/2. So whichever formula you use, you should get the same answer for the slope. I know that I have find my slope and I know what is my y-intercept. I am going to write my equation. And then my y-intercept, which is +2. So my equation is y equals -1/2 x plus 2, and this is the equation of the line. What you can always do is once you find the equation, you label that line on the graph using that equation, -1/2 x plus 2. And that is the equation of the line. Again, in order for you to find the equation of a line in slope-intercept form, you need two things. You need the slope and you need the y-intercept. The y-intercept is a y-coordinate where the line crosses the y-axis. And how to find the slope, we either use rise over run by taking 2 points, forming a triangle to see how you get from how many times you rise and run to get to that other point, or you can use the slope formula, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. To use that formula, again, you need 2 points on the graph. Choose whichever 2 points you need, substitute them in the formula, and find your slope. Once you find your slope, you substitute those values into the original equation by replacing m with the value for m, which is the slope, and replacing b, which is the y-intercept, with the value for the y-intercept, and there you have your equation.